In today's Check Your Wallet at the Voting Booth report, the Washington Post drops a brutal new bombshell on Trump. You know, the man with the plan.
I want on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word, the groceries. When you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down. A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. It'll also bring your grocery bill way down. I have more complaints on grocery. The word grocery, it's sort of simple word, but it sort of means like everything you eat. The stomach is speaking. It always does. And I have more complaints about that. Bacon and things going up, double, triple, quadruple. I haven't seen Cheerios in a long time. I'm going to take them back with me. Bacon is through the roof. They're all through the roof. The milk, everything is bad. And we're going to straighten it out. We're going to bring prices way down, and we'll get it done fast.
Well, folks, plans change, as Catherine Rampell recently opinioned in the Washington Post with this headline, "Oops, consumers finally realize Trump could worsen inflation." And the highlights of Rampell's op-ed piece that we'll have for you in just a minute. It's a terrific piece. It's going to make your lunch a little bit harder to swallow.
The stomach is speaking. It always does.
From yesterday's Washington Post, fearing high prices, some are stocking up for what could be an expensive 4 years. A day late and a dollar short, Americans are realizing that President-elect Donald Trump plans to short them a few dollars. That's right. Since the election, U.S. consumers have become more likely to say they expect to pay higher prices next year. Trump based his 2024 campaign on a seductive promise: he'll bring prices down. Alas, it's virtually impossible to reduce prices. The overall level of prices almost never falls unless an economy is really sick, as it was during the Depression, the last time we saw widespread deflation. The best that economists generally hope for is for growth in prices to slow and for prices themselves to more or less plateau. Well, this is already happening for some consumer products, such as groceries. However, none of this is intuitive to non-economists, and Trump has taken advantage. Only after winning last month did Trump fess up, belatedly acknowledging he can't bring prices down. "I'd like to bring them down," he told Time magazine. "It's hard to bring things down once they're up. Well, it's very hard." Got that? There was no plan. There is no plan, and there never was going to be any plan to reduce prices. The only thing surprising about this admission is that he said it out loud. One thing Trump didn't acknowledge, however, is how his economic agenda, tariffs, deportations, tax cuts, and kneecapping the Federal Reserve, could worsen the problem that voters hired him to solve. But Americans seem to be catching on anyway. Every month for decades, the University of Michigan has surveyed consumers nationwide about their views on the economy. Since the election, there has been a surge in respondents saying now is a good time to purchase big-ticket items because prices will probably rise. Respondents became more likely to anticipate price increases for major household purchases, furniture, appliances, etc., as well as for vehicles. We don't know for sure what's driving these shifts in consumer views. Most likely, Americans are absorbing news coverage of Trump's proposed tariffs and their potential to raise prices on food, cars, apparel, appliances, and other common household purchases. Researchers at the Peterson Institute for International Economics estimate that 10% global tariffs and 60% tariffs on Chinese goods could cost a typical American family about $1,700 a year. Threats of mass deportation and reduced legal immigration for seasonal agricultural workers have also led to more news stories about how U.S. farmers could be left short-handed, driving up fruit, vegetable, and dairy prices. And though I don't really expect American voters to be paying a ton of attention yet to Trump's threats to Fed independence, that should also be a five-alarm fire for anyone who cares about inflation, Rampell writes. Meanwhile, some U.S. companies are already pulling forward purchases and stockpiling imported goods. This precaution is not only to front-run possible tariffs, but also to avoid other geopolitical and supply chain threats. These factors are already driving up shipping prices and forcing U.S. companies to absorb the costs of purchasing and warehousing inventory they're not sure yet that they will need. Some of those costs will likely get passed along to consumers. Trump could easily make all of these problems worse. For some reason, he's threatening to take over the Panama Canal, a crucial transit point for U.S. goods this month. He supported U.S. dock workers' demands for ports to abandon planned investment in automation. To be clear, U.S. ports are among the least efficient in the world, precisely because they have put off basic technological improvements. Consumers might not be totally aware of all of these risks, but they seem to have a growing sense, vibes, if you will, that a second Trump term could bring more uncertainty to the U.S. economy. And that sense of unease in and of itself can lead to bad economic outcomes. If sufficient numbers of consumers follow through with preemptive purchasing to avoid future price escalations, explains Joanne W. Sue, the director of the University of Michigan Surveys of Consumers, such a burst of spending could in itself exert upward pressure on inflation and could potentially contribute to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sigh, if only voters had realized all this before November 5th.
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow.
Well, the one thing we can count on with the president-elect is he calls them as he sees them.
Every rally's full. You don't have any seats that are empty. You don't have anything. That was beautiful. And the Virginia rally, did you hear about the Virginia rally?
And while he calls them as he sees them, to the woe of the world, enough Americans refuse to believe their own eyes. And here we are.
I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich.
That you can believe.